Hi, my name's Chad. It's so great to see you today. The last time we were together, we heard a part of the big God story about a promise God made to a man named Abraham. God promised to give Abraham a baby even though he was really old. We know that nothing is too hard for God, not even that. And not only did God give Abraham a son, but he made his family so big that no one would be able to count all the people in the family. As Abraham's family grew, he had a great-grandson named Joseph. And Joseph had many brothers, but he was his father's favorite. How do you think that made Joseph's brothers and sisters feel? I'll tell you, it made them angry, and it made them sad, and it made them jealous. That's right, they felt really, really bad. Now the Bible tells us that one day his brothers, they just couldn't take it anymore. Their hearts were so full of anger and hate towards their brother that they made a plan to get rid of Joseph. You know what they did? They threw him in a really big hole in the ground. Yeah, a big hole. Isn't that weird? Some of the brothers, they were so mad that they even wanted to kill Joseph. Oh no. Well, you know what? God was with Joseph. Some people, they were passing through on their way to sell things in Egypt, and when the brothers heard this, they pulled Joseph out of that hole and they sold him to those travelers. And after Joseph was taken away to Egypt, his brothers went back to their father and they told him that wild animals had killed Joseph. Wild animals? Oh my gosh, that's crazy. They lied to their father about what happened. That wasn't the truth. They were just so glad that Joseph was gone. Were they making good choices? No, not at all. But you know what? Through all this, God was with Joseph. Now, many years passed after Joseph went to Egypt, and some bad things happened to Joseph, and, well, some good things happened to Joseph. But through it all, God was with Joseph. He didn't leave him, not for one moment. There came a time when the Pharaoh, who's like the king of Egypt, had dreams that he couldn't understand. So Pharaoh sent for Joseph, and this is what the king said. I've had a dream, and no one can understand what it means. But I've heard people say that when you hear dreams, Joseph, you understand everything in them. Now Joseph told Pharaoh that he didn't understand the meaning of dreams, but God told him what they meant. He told Pharaoh he knew that God would give him the answers that he was seeking. So, Pharaoh told Joseph all about his dreams, and God told Joseph what the dreams meant. Then Joseph told Pharaoh what God was telling him. So, for 7 years, Egypt would grow lots and lots of food. And then for 7 more years, there'd be a famine. Do you know what a famine is? Because it's kind of a funny word. Well, a famine is a time where there just isn't enough food for everyone. And the famine that was coming to Egypt, the one that was going to last for 7 years, it was going to be really, really bad. Because 7 years is a long time, right? I mean, some of you guys haven't even been alive 7 years yet. Yeah, it's a really long time. Guess what? God was with Joseph, and he gave him a plan to care for the people during those 7 years of famine. Joseph told Pharaoh the plan, and Pharaoh listened carefully. Pharaoh loved the plan so much that he even put Joseph in charge of the land and the people of Egypt because he knew that the Spirit of God was with Joseph. Now, just as God said, those 7 years went by where Egypt grew lots and lots of food. And so Joseph made sure to store enough up so that when the famine came, they would have plenty saved. And those 7 years of famine, well, they came just as God had said. So Joseph and the people, they planned and they saved, and so they had enough to feed all the people during the famine. Now, when the people of the distant lands heard that there was food over there in Egypt, well, they began to travel from their countries to buy the food. And his brothers and father, they heard the news, and they went to Egypt to buy food too. But Joseph saw them coming. Oh, and he was so excited that he made a plan to bring his entire family to Egypt. He wanted to take care of his family, and he wanted to have them live all together again. But how could this happen? Joseph's brothers had been so terrible to him. Remember, they threw him in that hole, and they sold him to those people. Do you think Joseph remembered that? Yeah, he remembered that. I bet you'd remember that if that happened to you. Well, Joseph knew that God was with him, and he'd been with them all along. Joseph told them that God planned to use him to care for his family during the famine. God even healed Joseph's heart that had been really hurt by his brothers, and he brought back his family all together again. How do you think Joseph was able to forgive his brothers? Well, God was with Joseph, and he gave him everything he needed to forgive them. Who healed Joseph's heart? God did. That's right. Sometimes people do things that are unkind or hurt us. And sometimes we do things that are unkind and they hurt others. When this happens, who's with us? God is with us. God is always with us, and he'll give us everything that we need to forgive people when they hurt us. You know what? He gives us everything that we need to ask other people for forgiveness when we have hurt them. And the times when you're sad, who's with you? That's right, God is with you. Or when you're happy and you're crazy, who's with you? God is with you. Now, when is God with you? He's with us all the time. No matter where you are or what's happening, God is with you, and you can always trust